Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Gabby, and I will be your speech-therapy-pd.com moderator for this course, AI Powered SLP, Mastering Ethical Prompts for Better Outcomes. Before we get started, we have a few items to alert you to. This course is 1 hour with no breaks and will be offered for zero point 0.1 ASHA CEUs. And now we welcome our presenters. Mai Ling is a speech-language pathologist, industry historian, global connector, and VP of Clinical Operations and Partnerships with Ed Theory. In addition to consulting with companies on accessibility and inclusion, she spotlights courage and inspiration for disability initiatives through her Becoming an Exceptional Leader book series, as well as the globally recognized Exceptional Leaders podcast. She also focuses on mentorship and has a passion for innovative and assistive technologies. As co-founder of EasyReportPro.com, Dr. Michelle Boisvert brings her extensive experience in school-based services to address a critical need, simplifying the report writing process for clinicians. Motivated by her keen interest in leveraging technology for efficient workload management, she envisioned a platform that boosts productivity and significantly reduces burnout, allowing clinicians to focus more on their core expertise. Welcome, Mai Ling and Michelle.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, and thank you. Okay, I'm going to share the screen so we can get started. Okay, I hope everyone can see our screen, and I think Mai Ling is going to welcome us.
Hello, welcome everyone. I love that the chat is already just blowing up. We've got a really exciting evening for you, so I want you to buckle in and get ready to hit that chat over there. All right, so I'm Mai Ling Chan. You may know me out there doing a lot of things in technology. I have written a couple of books and I am on a podcast, and all of that great information is there. But what I really love is education and connecting with people like you to create, and continue to make the world a better place, specifically for speech language pathology. So I'm really excited to be here with you tonight.
And my name is Dr. Michelle Boisvert, and I too have been very interested in technology. I first started off with telepractice and then broadened to automation and now AI, ethical AI, and I'm so grateful and happy to be here. And as part of that interest in technology, I did co-found a report writing software called EasyReportPro.com, and you're welcome to check it out. And you get a free month if you sign up. So we are very excited to have you here. We are going, just to let you know, this is not going to be a sit and get type of presentation. We are going to be interactive. We're going to be asking you questions. We want your feedback, your opinions, and that will really make this presentation very special and powerful for all of us. So what our goals for the next hour will be is to identify key principles to write effective AI prompts, specifically for us, speech and language pathologists. We're going to talk about how we can use AI to support workload management and really think about how we can use AI ethically in a way that maintains client privacy, cultural sensitivity, and maintaining our professional ethics.
All right. Before we get started, though, we really want to get to know you so we get an idea of who's in the room here and how much do you know. So we're going to use 1, 2, and 3, just number 1, 2, and 3. Find your chat. And if you could tell us how many of you are comfortable with using AI software like ChatGPT. So 1 would be very comfortable, 2 is a newbie, and 3, no idea. Lots of 1s and 2s, just a couple of 3s. That's great. So when I did this presentation for SpeechTherapyPD.com back in the summer, which was AI and ethics, we had a lot of 3s. And I think that's where we all were back then, right? We're all like, what is this? How do I use it? And how can I make sure that I'm using it correctly? And that was a really interesting presentation. If you want to go back to it, it is available in the SpeechTherapyPD.com library. And there's a lot of intro history to AI and a lot of ethics, which we definitely need to know. In here, we're going to be talking about high level and then, basics about AI, but then we're going to be going much deeper into how we can use it specifically as speech language pathologists and how we can actually control, how we're creating these prompts. And I think that that's where we've kind of lost a lot over the last couple of months is, whoa, how do I actually use this? And so that's what we're here to do with you tonight. All right. So we know this, right? AI is a technology that simulates human intelligence. It is not human. You know this, and intuitively you know this. But because it's doing such amazing things, it's wowing us left and right, and it has incredible capacity and speed. But there are definitely limitations, and we have to make sure that we know about this. So it has already been programmed with so much information that was added by the original coders, and then it also continues to learn from information that we feed it. And then some platforms can even go out on the internet and get information real time. And that's great, right? Because we're not locked into 2 years ago. But it's as if it's already read everything that there is to read on the internet, and it's just sitting there waiting for you to prompt it. Another interesting thing that makes AI different than what we've been used to is that it's more of like a domino effect. It's not like a domino effect where it used to do one task at a time. Now it's able to process across multiple data points at the same time through parallel processing, and it makes it like lightning fast. And so it can answer a question, make a list, create spreadsheets, do math calculations, write paragraphs, and it can even write a book. And yes, we have seen books being created by AI out there. And so the more we utilize it every day, we're growing in our understanding of these amazing tasks that it can perform. But I can definitely tell you that as of today's date, which is February 3rd, 2025, it cannot create my favorite decaf caramel latte with oat milk, extra hot with a warm smile, friendly attitude, and that joke of putting April on my cup instead of May, like my favorite barista, Jimmy, does, right? It is not human. So there's only so many things that it can do. So we're going to be jumping into all of this with you. Before we get to that, though, I do want to kind of let you know that the pace is going to be pretty quick. So I'm a Jersey girl. I speak fast. Michelle's also a pretty quick talker. But you can go back and watch the recordings. And you can go back and watch Michelle's probably at normal speed and mine at like -1. But the information is all there for you. And then we have a really amazing handout that you can download at the end. This is in addition to the slides that you probably already have. So Michelle's going to walk us through some of the ways that we can use AI to support tasks related specifically to speech language pathology.
Awesome. And so when we think about how we're using AI in our practice, it's really important for us to understand its benefits and best practices. Kind of very simply put, AI is a great tool for creating. And this is really exciting when we think about making personalized therapy material, like images, video, audio. And why? Why is AI so good for this? Because it quickly creates content based upon key information. But here's the thing. We have to provide that key information. That key information comes from our clinical knowledge. We're the experts. We know our clients. We know their interests. We know their cultural background. We know their goals and objectives. And so it's really important that we are writing a prompt that is really targeted to our clients, but the actual development of that material, which we all know can take a very long time, can happen through AI. It comes to us for review, and then we can use it in therapy. So here is something we want to know. What are some of your experiences? What are some examples specifically that you have used AI for? And just drop it right in the chat. We want to know. Awesome. All right. So cool. So yes, so we're seeing people using AI for lesson planning, for therapy ideas, for getting that personalized material. That is my favorite use of AI, actually. We're using it to generate lists, practice lists, homework, and images. Images is another huge one. So that's great. we know that AI is very cool. We know that we love using it for material creation and content development. But there are some tasks that we should not use AI for. There are some parts of our job that need our expertise. That's why we went to school. That's why we're the experts in the room. Things that AI simply cannot nor should not do. Or if we do use AI, we should use it very strategically. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So, for example, AI is not ideal for documents or tasks that demand high accuracy and high and expert implementation. The reason? AI does not have our expertise. It does not have our professional knowledge. As Mai Ling said, it relies on predetermined data sets that may not reflect the cultural and linguistic background of our clients. So importantly, AI often produces inaccurate and inconsistent outcomes. And I'm just going to throw out a huge yikes right now. When we give stakeholders, and by stakeholders, I mean clients, caregivers, administrators, colleagues, sometimes advocates, lawyers, when we give them documents that are inaccurate or that don't reflect our client, our professional reputation is at stake. That is why this presentation is so important. We all have to know how to use AI ethically and with our expertise driving the whole process. So again, in the chat, we want you to talk about or drop in some implementation tasks or types of documents that you don't think AI should be good for, or AI should just be used very strategically for. So put those right in. I love all of these. We should not use AI to determine therapy goals. We might use AI to help brainstorm, but we, the experts, again, the SLPs, are the ones who's determining those goals. We should not use AI to identify specific treatment skills or interpret test results or write up full diagnostic reports or making eligibility decisions. These are tasks that require our expert judgment, our clinical knowledge, and accuracy. Again, we can use AI to brainstorm. It's awesome to create those ideas, but we, the SLPs, the experts in the room, we make the final decisions for implementation that have a lasting and legal impact on our clients.
Okay, hallucinations. I think last year people didn't know what it was. And when I started talking about it, they were like, what? So let's drop this in the chat. How many of you have experienced hallucinations? And this chat is amazing, Michelle. I don't know if you were able to see. They are just blowing up. I mean, such creative ideas too. I hope that you go back and get the text for the chat that hopefully is attached to the course, because there are so many great and creative ideas on how to use it. Okay, so we have yeses and nos. Yeah, we're not there yet. And so this is important. And I feel like Michelle and I have value is to let you know that this happens, that it actually makes stuff up. And it's unbelievable. It's happened to me. It's happened to Michelle. I have a second question here is, when you have a hallucination, for those of you that said yes, does this take more time for you to deal with that? So for those of you who haven't experienced it, let's see what everyone's saying. And here we go. It's 100% yes. Yeah, it apologizes. I like that. You tell it, that's not what I asked. And it says, sorry, let me go back and fix that. I understand the question that you asked. I've had times where it was just in a loop. It'll just keep giving me the wrong answer. And I don't understand why. I'm like, why or do you keep giving me the wrong answer? And again, it'll say, sorry, let me go back and check that again. But here's the thing is, first you have to realize that it's giving you something that is totally not real. So that's what we're saying is it does take up some more time, because you have to focus your attention on what you're looking at and fact check.
What happens? So we know that AI can make up things. We know that if we have errors in our documents, it can be really embarrassing. What are some other ways that AI errors or AI hallucinations affect us? Do you think? So we have lots of time, more work, more time. Absolutely. We know it kind of degrades our professionalism. It also, oh my gosh, it also messes with the trust that we have between us and our clients or our caregivers. It creates confusion. Absolutely. So AI text can sound good, it can look good, but it is often wrong and it can be long. So we know that where we really have to make sure that what we put out there is accurate.
All right, so to make sure that we're all on the same page here, we're just going to go over some basic things. So first of all, you have your chat box. It's that place where you type your message in and you get your replies from AI. So we're calling that the chat box. All right, next you have the prompt, and the prompt is the message or the question that you type in, and it's literally telling AI what you need and exactly how to give it back to you. So it's the prompt. Okay, the third one is the response. And so that's the result. So it's going to give you, and different platforms have different ways of doing it, but usually it's right after you input your prompt, then it will output all of this information after that. And
Oops.
oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So just want to see, again, let's just do a check. How many people in the room are familiar with 1, 2, and 3? Good, good, good. Okay, so we've all had some kind of experience. This is fantastic. So what this is telling me, Michelle, is that we have people that definitely are not experts yet, right? But we have people that are dabbling. And that's the space that I think this session is so important for, is you have started with it. Oh, we do have a couple in here. That's funny. As I was saying that, we have a couple of no's. All right. So, we're still in that learner stage versus Google. I think everybody now knows how to go out and use Google, right? And I know you're all going to say yes. But believe it or not, years ago, they didn't. And so there were people that were starting out with, how do you use Google? What's the best way to put in your question? And that's where we're at with AI. But AI is so much more powerful. So that's why I want to applaud you for being here tonight, for having your pen ready and taking notes, and then for coming back and checking out the video again and looking at the handout that we give you, because there really are specific steps and specific strategies to controlling the AI and getting the best that you can out of the results. Okay, so we're going to look at the chat and the prompt. So here's an example. So for those of you that did say no, an example of a prompt is act as an SLP. And so it already knows what an SLP stands for. Generate a 75-word descriptive passage suitable for grade 4 students on the topic of bird watching. Incorporate the following words. So we put this in brackets: afford, peer, apparent, benefit. Ensure the text is engaging and age appropriate. Provide 10 vocabulary questions about the passage to work on. For example, fill in the blank, antonyms, synonyms, and then generate a text prompt based on the passage for an image. So, there's a lot in there, but this is pretty specific, and it's even going to give us what we need to then create an image to go with all of this. All right, so here is a real-time example of how AI is going to respond to that very detailed and specific request, okay? Michelle is going to go ahead and control that video. Oh, should I read the prompt first? Okay, so there are 2 tasks in this prompt. So one is create a 75-word descriptive passage for a 4th grade student about bird watching using the specific vocabulary. Then the second part is create a text prompt based on the passage that will help it to create an image related to the story. And this is how fast it will respond for you. All right. In the chat, let me know. Are you impressed a little bit? I know the first time that happened for me, I was like, whoa. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is, to me, that's just incredible on the speed. And we can do that real time, but you never know how it's going to be with connecting to internet. So, recording it and putting it here for you is amazing. And you're going to have those kind of moments. But remember what we said about hallucinations and things, is that you definitely need to go back and use your expertise to fact check this. And we are going to show you that also. All right, so the second part now is the image. And so let's go ahead. It's going to do the second part. And as you can see there, here we go. Still does take a little bit to watch it. Okay, so what we were able to do then is take this text prompt and put it into a different platform. So like ChatGPT has an image creating platform, which is DALL-E. You take that, put it in there, and now you have an image that goes directly, specifically to the activities that ChatGPT has created for you. Now, does that sound exciting? Go ahead, tell us in the chat. What model? We use ChatGPT, it's DALL-E. Thank you.
And it's right part of DALL-E, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, guys. And then what you're seeing there is where you copy everything and put it into a Word document, and it looks all beautiful and pretty. Okay, ChatGPT is a third-party software that you can get for free, or you can pay for an upgraded version. DALL-E is one of the smaller programs that is available in ChatGPT.
And actually, that is a great segue to our next section, where we're going to talk about 8 really popular programs and platforms that are ideal for speech and language pathologists. So that first one that Mai Ling just mentioned is ChatGPT. This is very common. This is one that's been in the news a lot. Most people have heard of it or tried it. This type of AI is a text-to-text or text-to-image type of platform. But it actually now even has a chat feature. So you can verbally have a conversation with ChatGPT, which is, I don't know how I feel about it. It's something to try. However, the data set stops at 2023. So that's something to remember when we're thinking about high relevance data. If we want a platform that searches the web in real time, Perplexity would be the one to check out. Perplexity searches the web and it gives you back links to references. So this is really perfect if you want to get real information and check the source right away to make sure AI is giving you the right information. Perplexity can also generate images, and it also will go out and do like a video search, which is kind of neat. Then we have visuals. So Canva is one, I bet a lot of us have used Canva. They have an amazing visual template just in terms of presentations and images that we can use. But now they have an AI where you can put in a description of what you want created, and they will, through Canva, will generate a picture based upon that description. The same goes for Art Guru. This will give you images and it will also give you videos. If you want sound, check out 11 Labs. 11 Labs is super cool. So it has voice translations, it has voice dubbing, it can also create background noises. So when I think about descriptive language and we're working on say narratives, for example, our students can now type in what they imagine might be in the background, and with 11 Labs, you can hear it right away. It's pretty remarkable. And finally, we have some very specialized AI platforms or AI hybrid platforms. The first is Khanmigo. This is from Khan Academy. And again, I bet we've all tried Khan Academy once or twice. They have used their video library to create a tutoring AI, which is pretty amazing. Brisk is a mostly AI platform. I love using Brisk with Google, with all of our Google products. With Brisk, you can highlight something, say like goals and objectives or a little bit of text, and it can immediately develop quizzes, slideshows, other documents, stories, anything right through the Google platform. So it's pretty cool. And then Easy Report Pro is a hybrid between dynamic automation and ethical AI. And this platform helps clinicians simplify and enhance their report writing process. And we're going to talk more about how or why or what we should use AI for in report writing after, especially since we just talked about AI hallucinations and the need for clinical oversight. So we are going to show you some prompts.
All right. How many people love creating prompts? I do. I do now. Let's put it that way. Oh, we got some yes, me's. Excellent. All right. So in the beginning, I did not know what I was doing. I was like, create a vocabulary list with the letter R, like then I realized, oh, this kitty is smart. So I think that you're really going to enjoy our next steps here, but we're going to break it down again, like making sure everybody's on the same page with us. Okay. So here we go. The prompt formula is being very, very specific. All right. So we're going to start out with creating very specific prompts, and we're going to enhance the relevance of the content that you're looking for. So an example is act as a, and then might be medical, school, rehabilitation, speech language pathologist who needs to, and then we're going to get to the task. We're going to add context. So that's through personalization without being in any conflict with HIPAA related information. So we can say this is for a 5th grade student diagnosed with autism who's struggling with social skills. And you can actually be more conversational with it also. You don't have to be, very specifically in a professional mode and tone. The next one would be specific. And so we want to really talk about the objectives and the outcomes that you need. So for example, the story might be 50 words, have 3 activities for therapy, and ask if I want an image. And so like you're setting yourself up for that next step that we showed you before, right? Never copy and paste the student's name, date of birth, HIPAA protected information, PPI, or any other personal information into this prompt. So important. This is your first high-level warning about ethics. Never, never, never share any of the information of your students or clients in your prompts. You can use age instead of a specific birthday, okay? So Michelle, who is our resident expert here, is going to show us how it's done.
Okay, so this is going to be another example of a text prompt that's been put into ChatGPT. And the prompt is, I think what Mai just said. So act as a middle school speech and language pathologist, write a social story for an 8th grader who has difficulty starting lunch. The passage must be 75 words long. I want 3 functional activities and ask if I want an image. And here is what ChatGPT does. So I put the prompt right in. Instantly, it gives me the social story. It gives me the functional activities. It's asking me if I want an image. I say yes. And then within seconds, a few seconds, it will generate an image. And again, here is that image that is directly related to the social story that GPT just created. So it's so amazing to be able to leverage this type of technology to create these really personalized, targeted types of interventions. So when you put all of that prompt formula together, you get the perfect prompt. And I would say, take a snapshot of this. You will get it in the video when you review it. But this is the formula put together, and it works really well at generating materials with very specific information. And again, these are typically the types of materials that would take us a long time to create, or like with some of them, it would be almost impossible for us to create. In the perfect prompt, the words that are in brackets or are in bold, that's the type of information that we're talking about. That's the type of information that you can add in. And that is key to help AI generate outcomes that are personalized and very specific to a specific goal or objective. So let's get, again, in the chat, start filling in some of these bolded words. What settings are you in? What types of materials do you need to develop for your clients or your students? What are some really cool details that your students or your clients might have that would be so hard to create if we didn't have AI? So we have a lot of private practice, elementary, pediatric, medical. Awesome. Okay, I want to know, what are some cool interests that your clients or students have? When I think like Minecraft, trees, roadblocks, horror movies. I love it. Dinosaurs. Yes. NASA. All of these things that literally would have been so hard for us to create in the past, when we put it into this perfect prompt. Oh my gosh, I love this. When we put it into this perfect prompt, you can create material that is targeted and focused to your clients. And we can add add-ons. So we can add in additional information to make sure our prompt is really clinically focused. So some examples would be things like, give me 5 comprehension questions, give me a word list, I want some carryover strategies. One that I love is I'll ask, give me real links to videos. And like Perplexity is really good, and ChatGPT will go out and look at videos and then give me links to YouTube videos that go along with whatever activity I'm doing. It will do translations. It will do visuals and pictures. And I think I sort of saw someone up here say a video social story. ChatGPT just launched, I think it's called Sona, which it does videos. I don't know if it does video social stories, but that would be definitely something to check out. So now we are just going to show you a few prompts. We're not going to read them word for word. We are just going to show you kind of ideas of what they look like. But in your handout, we have all of these prompts for you. We have 25 ready to go prompts that are perfect for different speech and language scenarios. And in that handout at the end, we also have a really cool video that we put in one prompt into 3 different AI platforms and get very different results. So it's kind of neat to see what happens when we give the same prompt to 3 different AI platforms. So the first prompt here is early intervention. We're going to work on articulation. We want a home-based lesson for a family who's working on the M sounds and the B sounds. We want it to be about a dollhouse. And so again, all of those bolded words in that perfect prompt, we're just adding in those details. And if we put this into ChatGPT, we would get a beautiful home lesson. For this one, this is for vocabulary. We want GPT or our AI that we're using to act as a middle school SLP. We are working on social and emotional vocabulary. We want ideas for teachers and caregivers, and we need the ideas in English and also translated into Spanish. And so GPT or any AI will do that for us. Finally, here's another example of we're working as we're an SLP in a skilled nursing facility. We need step-by-step instructions to help a 55-year-old that suffered a stroke. We want links to websites that have visuals, and we also want follow-up recommendations. And again, you pop this prompt right in, and it will give you the resources. It's pretty amazing.
All right. Thank you for that, Michelle. And we're talking about a download handout that we're going to give you at the end. And it has 25 specific, granularly detailed prompts, just like the ones that Michelle showed you. So you're going to be able to take those and obviously customize it, to your caseload and your needs. So just hold on. We got a lot of great stuff for you. All right. In terms of ethical considerations, what we see is that AI is not acting alone. You are the one that is driving, how you input and what the information is coming out. And so, you can't just open ChatGPT and voila, all your sessions are planned and all these activities are there. So you have to really input and shape and design how you want AI to respond. And the decisions it makes decisions based on the content that you provide it. And this is where the ethical considerations come in. Now, there are a couple people in the chat that already started talking about ethical considerations, and it's so important. And I'm so glad that you guys were already red flagging that, because this is so important at this stage, because we are still so early with this technology. And so, what we're doing now is actually continuing to train it. And the things that we need to think about is how much do you actually shape the information that you provide it? How much of what you ultimately use is raw AI generated content that you don't continue to customize and, make it more of your own? And how much do you actually review, synthesize, and ultimately edit that final product? And it's so important that there is a piece of you in this. So Professor Dory Clark is an absolutely incredible, globally recognized thought leader, and she does a great job of exemplifying or simplifying how you can use AI to streamline your work with an ethical lens. And so, Michelle, if you could play that.
Whoops, hold on, sorry.
A lot of clients talk to me about ethical ways to use AI in their work. They want to be smart, they want to use AI and harness its power, but they also don't want to go over the line or get too dependent on it or use it for inappropriate things. And so the framework that I use when thinking about how to effectively use AI for your work is the distinction I make is front office and back office. If it is a back office task, meaning it's something that's invisible, it's something that is sort of more formative, then you can use AI to help you. Brainstorming is great. Coming up with article ideas, title ideas, just stimulating creativity. And it's all behind the scenes. What you don't want to do is use AI for front office things that are visible to the public. I would not recommend having AI literally write your articles or literally write your reports. You can certainly use it as an editor, have it check things. And of course, you want to check AI too, because it can still hallucinate. But ultimately, it's better used as a way to spark your own ideas and connections and creativity. And then you do the front office work.
Excellent. I think she just does a great job. The back office, front office, it just puts it in such great terms for us. So Nicole Bailey and Malia Stewart shared helpful targets that we should be watching out for. And this was in their presentation at ASHA 2024. So correctness, and we talked about this over and over, AI tools may generate inaccurate results, which can lead to errors in interpretation and outputs. And so all of you who started at the beginning who said you didn't know what hallucinations are, I hope that you're leaving here with knowing what this big H word is. The next one is consistency, right? So it is so important that these tools do not actually perform, since it doesn't perform reliably, that we are checking every time. So it's so important that we are consistent in, looking at the output results and using our expert knowledge to make sure that it is correct. And then the last one is that we are using current data. And that is, obviously, it relies on, sometimes it's outdated information. So I don't know if you guys know, but ChatGPT 3 is limited to September 2021. So that's as much information as has been fed into it. And then by us giving it more information, it is continually getting more data. But there are additional paid subscriptions that you can get that lets it access the internet, which is ChatGPT 4.0. And that uses Bing, which is I can't think of what it's called right now, but it uses Bing to actually access the internet, like a search engine. There you go. And then Perplexity, which Michelle brought up, actually does access the internet, and it also gives you citations. But I have also found hallucinations in Perplexity, and it makes me so sad because I really love Perplexity, and it also gives you access to Claude and Sonnet and just all these other things too. So you just always have to be on your game and do not get lax with these things. So I want to show you the result of a simple prompt. And so Michelle's going to go ahead. Michelle, I can't read that. Do you remember what the prompt is on there? I don't have.
Yeah. So I think what the prompt is generate an image of a woman. I think that's what it says. Generate an image of a woman.
Right. Thank you. Okay. And then the next one is generate an image of kids playing. Oh, there's another woman sitting on a bed.
So here's the one of kids playing.
Yep. Okay. And I don't know if you can see that really well, but if you can zoom in, I would say there is zero cultural diversity in all three of those pictures. Thank you, Danette. Exactly. And so it is responding to your question based on the information that has been programmed into it. And so if we don't guide it and give it more specific information, this is what it sees as a valid answer. So Michelle and I would like to add a few more C's, starting with client privacy. So again, we've talked about this a couple of times. You cannot put any regulated or controlled information about students or your clients into your prompts. The next one is cultural sensitivity. And I think we made a good point, to show you what happens if you do not shape your prompts, to give you some more culturally diverse outputs. And the last one is compliance. And again, I'm really pushing you to go check out that course that I did with Speech Therapy PD last month, which is all about ethical AI in speech therapy. It's just really, really important for you to protect your clients in congruence with our ASHA Code of Ethics. And yes, this course also counts as a required ethics course for ASHA. So this is why it's so important to use software like, and I'm going to bring up Easy Report Pro. We do have Dr. Michelle Boisvert here, who is the creator and co-founder of this amazing platform. It does have an AI component to it, but what it does is it comes up in red text, which is amazing, to say, hey, make sure that you're seeing this and make sure that you review it. It is so important that your reports are valid, credible, comprehensive, ethical, and compliant. And that's what these softwares are doing when they are created with an ethical lens. And so whatever software you're using, make sure that you are reading beyond the fine print to find out, who is the creator in the background, and also giving your feedback on how to make it better. I really, really invite you to get involved, email the creators. I'm sure Michelle is responsive and willing to, get your feedback, because we can only continue to make this better. All right, so let's have the expert share how to use AI software for specifically IEP report writing.
Right. So, and this is such a big topic because we have to be very mindful and protective of our expertise, but we also want to be able to leverage technology to save us time and to do all of these amazing things. So when I think about the ethical use of AI, and this is specifically for progress reports, diagnostic reports, I think about three major topics. The first, or three major kind of like categories. The first is optional. AI should enhance, not replace, our decision-making. Clinicians, we have got to maintain full control to ensure that it's our professional judgment that drives the report writing process. Like we heard from Dory Clark, AI can act as an optional tool or an aid or an assistant to help edit or improve that flow and readability. But at the end of the day, it is our professional judgment that is represented on that report. And so we have to make sure what is in that report clearly reflects our professional expertise. So that's why AI should be optional. The next is strategic. So ethical AI should assist with very specific clinician-determined tasks to, for example, improve the workflow of some sections. It should not write the entirety of your report. SLPs, us, the folks, again, that have all of the expertise, that have all of the background knowledge, that have gone to school, that have, that know our clients, we should use our own expert written templates or text or verbiage that we've fine-tuned over the years. Text, I will say, that is often required by our states, by our districts, or by our clinics. And it should be our decision when and where to strategically use that AI. So again, and we have to know how that AI is being used. Is it being used for editing? Is it being used for refining content, for translating, to improving the flow? But being very strategic about how we use AI ensures that our reports are grounded in professional expertise and professional requirements that we all have. And finally, ethical AI is transparent. So the use of AI in any reports should be easily identified so we can ensure accuracy. As I mentioned, we must know how and why AI was used. But as we talked about, going through AI text can take a long time, especially if we're not quite sure what part of the report was generated by AI. So as Mai Ling mentioned, in our platform, and I'm going to show you an example of this in just a moment, any AI generated text will come up in bright red. So that kind of spotlights the area of the report that we need to go in, we need to review, we need to refine, and we need to ensure that any AI generated content or text meets our ethical and professional standards. And that is so important. That is so important. So through strategic and ethical AI, SLPs can really leverage this technology to streamline the report writing process. And when we use this in an ethical way, through an ethical lens, it really helps us thrive in our setting. And best of all, strategic AI saves us time. And we all want a little bit of time. We don't want to bring work home with us. So I am going to show you an example of how Easy Report Pro uses ethical AI. Let me just give you a quick background on the type of technology Easy Report Pro uses. So at its core, Easy Report Pro is an intelligent automation system. So it uses the automation of expert written templates that are part of the platform. You, as an SLP, can go in and customize any of those templates. You can upload your own templates and leverage the automation features in this platform. But at its core, Easy Report Pro is automation, which is different than AI. But there is an optional AI feature in this platform. It's an AI prompt. And the goal of this prompt is to improve the readability of expert written checklists that have information that we need to enter or include in reports. So I'm just going to play the quick video so you can see how Easy Report Pro leverages ethical AI in the report writing process.
After logging in and selecting a specific report to work on, I can then enter information into expert written template sections that are grouped to create a full report. I go to a template section, and in this case, it's behavioral observations, and select the statements from my expert written checklist that fit my student. I then use optional AI for this one section to improve the flow and readability. When the report is generated, the AI modified text will appear in bright red, and this will happen when you generate the report as well as when it gets brought into your word processing platform. But this bright red text ensures full transparency, allowing us, the SLPs, to quickly review and confirm the accuracy. If I'm happy with the wording, great. If I need to make a few changes, great. But after I do that, I can easily change the text color back so it matches the rest of the report right in my word processing system.
So that is a very, very quick example of how ethical AI can be combined with an existing platform to improve our report writing workflow, while, of course, so importantly, maintaining our clinical oversight, our expertise, and our professionalism.
Thanks so much, Michelle. That was great. I'm going to ask you a serious question. You guys ready? In the chat, let us know. Are you afraid that AI is going to take over our jobs? It's a great question. Nice. So I'm seeing lots of no's. Oh, not a chance. Hopefully not yet. A tiny bit. Thank you for saying that. I'll tell you, when this all first came out, I was like, uh-oh. I actually saw that there's an AI SLPA software out there. Yeah, possible. So this is the thing. We don't want you to be afraid of AI. And hopefully, Michelle, showing you quickly how AI can augment this platform. And there are other programs that AI is augmenting that, it's not this really scary thing that people are going to use and it's going to replace you, and that they're never going to, work knee to knee with a speech language pathologist again. It's just not possible, right? I mean, I want you all to come in. I want to give everyone a big hug. It's not possible. We are the experts. We are the humans behind all of this. We are the ones that are making the change and making the diagnosis and creating the therapy activities. This is just a tool, and we need to be one step ahead of what's going on now. And you're doing a great job. Again, I want to really commend you for being here, especially people who are newbies. I mean, that's just fantastic, because you're learning how to shape and, more importantly, how to manage AI. And that's what's so important. All right. So one more little nugget, in order to not sound like all of your reports, emails, and other content was actually created by AI, we're including a list of 80 plus words and phrases to watch out for and to put in your prompts to not use. And that's, again, going to be in the download. This includes tapestry. How many people, go ahead and put it in the chat, have you seen tapestry come back in some type of content creation? I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing that out in blogs. So when you see it out there, you'll start to say, oh my gosh, that was totally created by AI. It's a red flag. Tapestry. Yes. Delve. That's another one. Have we seen? Yes, I just saw dive. So we're going to deep delve into something. Anybody else? Have you seen the delve? And then another great one is, it's important to note. I've seen that many times. Yes, Lisa, curated, leverage. So there's a bunch of words. We've put them together for you to use. They're not all of them. And then you also have to be careful, because if you don't use all of these words, there's like almost no words left. But there are lots of these words and phrases that are coming up, and you will like just totally know that, oh my gosh, this was 100% created by AI and somebody did not go back and, edit them. So very, very interesting. Okay, so we've been talking about this handout. Grab your phone, grab this QR code, and this is going to give you this fantastic PDF that you can download. It's got the 25 prompts in all different areas, very, very specific, that you can then customize. It's got the videos that we mentioned, the do not use list, and then also some references if you want to do some additional reading. And then, Michelle, we can go to the QA. Yep, because we also have that there. And also, please connect with Michelle and I out on Instagram. We are here for you and here with you, and we're so excited to be part of this AI revolution.
Great.
Awesome.
And
I'm just looking at all the cool questions. Do we have time to answer a few?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we do.
Let's see.
I'm going to try to grab that link and put it into the chat.
Yeah, if you can put in the chat, because the QR code's not working for some people. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So somebody was a lot of the questions you were able to answer. Somebody said, I have seen some companies popping up that use AI to write SOAP notes and treatment session documentation, both with and without analysis from an audio recording. Curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Do you want me to go, Mai Ling? Yes. So, right, there are some really cool apps that are out there. I think anything that we use, we have to make sure that it's accurate. So I would say try them out, see if they reflect what you would think or what you would write as an SLP, writing a SOAP note. And if we can use it again to help guide us and give us that information. But again, it is up to us to make sure that that information is correct.
Got it. And then I saw something that was really cool. It said, I saw an activity where a student who stutters can talk to the AI to practice things like ordering a meal at McDonald's, etc. I was wondering if there were any privacy concerns for letting a student speak into it. Of course, I wouldn't have the student use their name.
I think there are. So one of the things that I discovered was with ChatGPT, it has that voice. You're able to have a conversation with GPT. It is a phenomenal tool to be able to practice in like these low stakes types of activities. But But we always have to keep in mind that client confidentiality, that privacy, is this a minor accessing, their voice is getting recorded. So that's absolutely something that we need to consider. But I will say, having the ability to have a conversation is pretty neat. It's pretty amazing. And it's really remarkable the types of things that we're able to practice, again, in a therapy setting, low stakes setting, and having an AI talk back to us.
Somebody asked, if you use AI to review a report, is there a quick way to remove student's name?
So are you using a PDF? Are you uploading a PDF into... I would say okay, so here's my guess. I would say here, if you are uploading a PDF, I don't think there's a quick way to remove that student's name. What I would recommend is either you can copy and paste a report in, of course, taking out the student's name. That might be a little bit more private and confidential. But if you're uploading a straight PDF, we have to be really, really careful, because usually that demographic information is the first thing that's part of those reports. And of course, we need to protect that confidentiality from our clients.
For sure. Somebody was asking about the tapestry and the delve. I think you were talking about like those words that seem to be used a lot in like ChatGPT reports. Is that what you meant when you said, what is the tapestry and the delve, when you were talking about that?
Yes, I think that's what Mai Ling was talking about. So those are words that often come up with AI generated text.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's really important to double check. I think I've had this incident happen with interns, like school psychologist interns. And the school psychologist knows me well and we work well, but he was giving her some leeway and she just copied and pasted the part of language based off of her results. And they gave the complete opposite of what I was doing. So that's also important. Like, you have to check your work, but that's something that maybe for anybody who has interns practicing things or things of that nature, to make sure you're double checking what's being put on the reports.
Right, right.
All right, let me see. We have a lot of questions coming in. Can this be used in private practice that is medically based, focusing on kids with genetic, rare disorders, and motor speech?
So can AI be used?
I think that's what he means, AI.
Sure. I mean, AI is readily available. And I guess I would ask, if you were working in a private practice, I would talk with the clinic manager, and maybe your entire team is deciding or determining what AI you're using, because there's so many out there. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Perplexity, the paid versions versus the free version. The other thing that's really cool with both GPT and Perplexity is you can create custom prompts that you can share with just a small handful of team members. So that's also a really neat tool that those platforms do have.
Yeah.
An example of that is like with some clinicians that I work with, they love phonetically loaded passages. So instead of asking me all the time, I actually just created a GPT for them in GPT, and they just use that link. They click what sounds they're working on, and it will automatically generate the passage for them.
Awesome. All right. I think we're getting some more questions. I think we have time for one more. Let me look at my... Okay. People are asking about that tapestry question again. And I think it's just the language, right? The verbiage that ChatGPT can use that kind of gives it away, to make sure. Yeah. All right. I think everybody has the code, the new link to sign up to get those resources. And Thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed this presentation. I learned so much, especially to how to prompt correctly to get the best outcome. I think that is key to utilizing AI. Everyone's saying thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you at another speechtherapypd.com course. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.